Miracles are seen in light and strength are one. Of course, to really grasp any of these lessons is to experience beyond this world. So you can't actually fully grasp and comprehend it if you are insisting to squish its ideas into the physical confines of the world. So yes, remember something about what the physical confines, as I mentioned, is mental ideas that you have. And that, I point to the brain as symbolic reference to what thoughts are. Even as this lesson mentions that you really think the brain can think and the eyes can see. And yeah, this is absolutely fascinating, because when you're really getting down into it and discovering that you are not actually a body, and you never were a body, and you don't actually have a place in time and space. You don't actually have a space in which is you and nothing else is. So as you're coming to recognize this and see it, you start to recognize, one, what, say, light is, what the source is, what is looking and seeing through you, what is experiencing through you. And I'm not even talking about just the body. I'm talking about, okay, so you have the body, right? And we can simply, I'm not going to get into the dimensions right now, simply say that the Son of God is experiencing through, right? Experiencing through, say, Devon, everything that Devon is. There's more layers to it, but we're not getting into that right now. And yet, God is experiencing through the Son of God, experiencing through Devon. Yeah. So you have the entirety of what God is, experiencing what the Son of God is, experiencing what Devon is. So there's several layers, but in the experience of where it all comes from, and that what the Son of God is the decision maker, the chooser of what it believes is real, what it understands is real, what it lives, experiences, chooses all throughout existence. So yes, the choices in this idea is literally, I always think this book is speaking directly to me and not really anyone else. Even reference of glasses, that I do wear contacts in the same sense. And a lot of people bring this up, like about aging and eyes going bad and things like that. And how do we not see these things? How come this is happening if I don't see with my eyes and such? And it's an interesting thing, because we do have to remember that the whole package deal, everything that I say is me, everything of a mind, a body, of an eyes body, is all the physical world. It is all a representation. So in the same sense as a dream, when you're in a sleeping dream, everything in the dream, even if you look in the mirror and you see yourself as a person or a different person, even as I have before, you still are looking with dream eyes, right? You're looking and experiencing with dream body. The dream body's there. You feel and have sensation of falling, of getting shot, of having sex, of playing different things. You still have the bodies of a dream reality, but you don't have a body. No, it's not at all a body, and there's no specific location that is you. That in a dream, if we're going back to that whole mentality, we want to recognize that the dream, everything in the dream, everywhere, if you're looking out in the distance, miles and miles away, to seeing the mountains in a dream, and yet the mountains are in the mind of the dreamer. The body that you think you are is in the mind of the dreamer. The perspective is in the mind of the dreamer. If the dreamer believes that it can't see without its glasses or contacts, it can't see without its glasses and contacts. It puts its glasses on. Oh, now I can see. As if it sees with eyes. As if it thinks with a brain. As if it touches with hands. So it's really phenomenal when you really are grasping what this is saying, because right now it's not necessarily like I think the ego likes to play with my ideas. Oh, Devin, you're not a miracle worker. You still need contacts. You can't even put mud over your eyes and wipe them off and clean them in River Jordan and then see, right? And yeah, my eyes are really bad. It's honestly true. But in that sense, I also think of it as kind of the way I think of myself. I am able to look, so metaphorically, I am able to look at things very closely and see the specks, the little details. And that's literally, physically, I can see very close. I can't read a book unless it's inches away from my face. Literally inches away from my face. Unless I squint, maybe now I got half a foot. So, literally. And but if I'm looking at my hand, I can literally see the cells parting and the cells in my hand. Like, I can see so close in my hand. And so this is like my mentality. This is how I think, how I believe about myself. It is a manifestation of the way in which I believe about myself. This is the same thing I do with spirituality. I am able to look at things very, very close and see the details of it and to understand it from a perspective that most people can't understand it. It's the same thing with how I work with in coaching and counseling and working with people. I can see very closely. And so you can actually see that this is a manifestation of the way in which, of the personality that I have chosen. So it actually manifests. Now that gets into medical intuition, but in the sense of it manifests in that same structure. Now, if I changed my perception, changed my personality to seeing normally or seeing at socially acceptable distance, also would my physical appearance change? I don't want to do that. So I value it in the same way that any condition that you have, if you value it, it's not a problem. It's just something you have, something you are, something you believe about yourself. So just like in that dreamer aspect, remember that it's the totality of the dreamer, the totality of the dream. And you are pieces and fragments and segments of that. And to be the complete essence of it is no longer to be you. To be the wholeness of what you actually are is to be that dreamer reality. So combine this idea a lot with what we talked about with the miracles seen in light and the whole transparent, illuminated reality of the spiritual universe. So kind of combine that with this, is that you are in that spiritual reality right now, and it's manifesting everything instantaneously, like the Big Bang. That there are waves of existence where it has like a structure to it. It's almost like there's a bell going off every few seconds. And if you're paying attention to it, it is constantly. And so each of those times, you can change it if you chose something different. But you can't change it if you are choosing the same thing. So A Course in Miracles is always trying to help you to recognize yourself and choose differently. So when you actually choose differently, it big bangs differently. It can come out, it's a little more complicated, but it's in the sense of a fractal. So the previous decisions are still present, but you then are adding two more, and then the previous decisions will be fading out as time goes on, fading out, right? And you'll be adding more and coming to a new age of experience, a new age of the world. It's pretty fascinating. So yes, in the way that we say light and strength are one, and kind of the details about what that was getting into, we want to recognize that the strength is from knowing what you are, knowing what the dreamer is. And so always being ready to turn to that. So at any moment, say if it's an emergency or anything like that, you can turn to that. You can literally forget yourself and instead choose, no, I'm not a brain that's thinking. I'm not eyes that are seeing. I'm not hands that are working. I'm not even the sense of an energy body that's separate from the rest of the universe. I am the totality of this experience, the totality of this universe, and every decision I make is completely valid and manifest instantly.